The Colorado Public Utilities Commission gave initial approval this week to an Xcel Energy plan to close 2 coal-fired plants that the company plans to replace with renewable energy sources. The approval and plan are arriving 10 years sooner than expected and will trigger $2.5 billion in investment from Xcel Energy. The company estimates that by 2026, 55% of Colorado's energy will come from renewable sources. David, as I said before the show, I feel like I'm putting a softball and a tee for you. So the floor is yours. Do you consider this a good move from Xcel as an investment?
Oh, it's an outstanding move from Xcel as an investment because they're going to make much more than they put in. And when they bought up all the lawyers in Colorado who have expertise in public utilities regulation, they're also getting enormous returns on their investment. The theory of public utilities is the government forcibly creates a monopoly on some service or an oligopoly and then regulates it supposedly in the interest of the consumer. So for a company like Xcel, they buy inputs, whatever energy source it comes from, and then they get to mark that up by a certain amount. Well, the prices of those inputs go up and down, and so that's kind of a fixed thing for Xcel. So how do they make even more money? Well, they say we have to do more capital investment. We need to build more things, because when you build more things, then you get to make your profit on that as well. So a while ago they said, oh, we've got these coal-fired plants, but let's upgrade them so they stay current and actually ahead of the curve of pollution control. We'll make these some of the state-of-the-art clean coal, low pollution plants and extend their service life. So they did that and of course got to make their profit on upgrading them. Now, while these plants are still doing great, they say, oh no, let's get rid of that and let's switch over to something else. So we'll have to put in $2.5 billion in investment, for which we'll get above our investment way more than $2.5 billion back. And supposedly, according to the Public Utilities Commission, looking out for the consumer, sometime in the 2040s, all the extra money that Xcel is raking out of the consumers starting tomorrow, more or less, will come back to them in savings a quarter century from now, supposedly. But I think you can bet that before those savings ever show up, Xcel will have another investment to make where you front load it with jacking up the spending and the extra charges to the consumers, and the savings to the consumers are always way out in the future and never materialize.
Eric, David's milquetoast answer to this notwithstanding, I think this has political repercussions this year because of our gubernatorial candidates. Do you agree?
We'll see. I haven't seen exactly where they will come down. I would be curious, particularly what Walker Stapleton makes of this for some of the reasons David enunciated from a more conservative free market ideology. My take on this, I don't wholly disagree with David. In fact, I don't even largely disagree with David. This might be good public policy. It might be good environmental stewardship. But let's put to bed this notion of an investment. When I hear the phrase investment, I hear risk, that there is some risk attached to the investment, and based on that risk, maybe you get returns, maybe you don't get returns. This is a guaranteed investment because the ratepayers are back, the Xcel ratepayers through the Public Utilities Commission basically backstop it, and with our utility bills every month, we enrich Xcel in this investment they're making. So it is not an investment in any sense of the word that some of us around the table might take some money out of our end of the month check and give it to an investment advisor and say, put it here or put it there. It is a guaranteed return. Xcel's in an enviable shape. They are able to do a lot on the renewable side, and maybe bully for them, but their return on that investment is a guaranteed deal.
Megan, I have a feeling the Denver Post editorial page has had an opinion about this. Am I right?
Yeah, so we wrote an editorial, and I spent quite a bit of time digging into the documents that Xcel has put forward to try and determine, is this a good deal for Colorado ratepayers? And I think at the end of the day, there are concerns about whether it would save consumers as much money as Xcel is saying that it would. but when it all washes out, it will indeed, over the long run, be a savings for ratepayers. I think that you have two things going on. One, you're currently paying a 1% fee for renewable energy on your bill, and that might have gone away, but it's going to stay and pay for these new outlays. And so I don't think that anyone's utility bills are going to be going up, and then in years forward, they'll start saving money. Part of that is because wind is so subsidized, and there is some irony that it's subsidized by our federal taxpayer dollars. It's not free money, it's our money. But I do think it is going to accomplish both things simultaneously, reducing our carbon emissions and eventually reducing ratepayers' bills. Yes, not as much as Xcel says it is, but it's still, at the end of the day, when you put all the cards on the table, I think the right move.
Patty, Pueblo remains the center of Colorado's energy story. What's the next chapter?
Oh, the next chapter will be when people start opening their bills come the first cold weather in December and January, and they discover how big their bills are and that they are not going down, and then contemplating who will realize the benefits, if indeed they come, 25 years from now. By then, we'll all be huddled under quilts in the nursing home, but maybe not some at this table. But it does seem like they have, Xcel is getting all the benefits, none of the risk. It's good that they're focusing on the environment, or they say they're focusing on the environment, but I will believe it when I see it, assuming I still can in 25 years.